All right, we're now joined in the media center with Emporia's own Clint Bowyer, who will drive the number 15 5-Hour Energy, benefiting Avon Foundation for Women Toyota. He's fourth in the points, has 3 wins this year. And welcome home, Clint. There are a lot of folks who obviously want to hear what you have to say about being here and racing at your home track at Kansas while in the thick of the chase.
Yeah, certainly coming home, fresh off a victory at Charlotte was really, really special. But more importantly, worked hard in testing, and I think our car's, pretty good. It's going to be interesting to see how this thing shakes out. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainties right now. It seemed like everybody got their cars comfortable, just like in Michigan. Anywhere else we have these hard tires and new repave. They just keep getting faster and faster and faster with every run, and then you put tires on it and it changes your whole game and you're back to miserable again. So that'll get better. That gap will kind of narrow up and go away as the weekend goes and we burn more rubber into the racetrack. But for right now, it was pretty interesting in the test. It was kind of a miserable test, really. Unfortunately, it rained the first day, most of the test out, and then the second day we had oil downs about every 15 minutes. So not a lot of testing, but it's the same for everybody. And our car was turning good. I felt like we were able to capitalize on Mark being here with the tire test and kind of use that to our advantage. Just built as much of a notebook as you can going into the race. Changed a lot of things, made a lot of runs over the last couple of days, and just hopefully we got a good game plan going into today's practice. Qualifying is going to be so important. Being up in clean air, it's going to be super hard to pass. So just got to have it all line up again.
All right. Questions for Clint, let us know. I know Stan will start with. We'll go to Claire and back to Jenna.
Stan Creekmore with RPMTonight.com. Clint, it's kind of interesting that all of you, when you talk about this track now, are saying Michigan. And I know partly because of the fact that it's new asphalt. But no one has said it's like Charlotte or it's like any other mile-and-a-half track. From what just a couple days of testing, is this now unlike any other mile-and-a-half track?
Well, every bit as much as the repave, the tires are causing those comments. I mean, that's the last, instance that we've had with this combination of a hard, extremely hard tire and a new repave. I mean, the thing's just got a ton of grip. Seems like you fight, tight conditions, and it's like you keep inching up on it, freeing it up. All of a sudden, the thing busts sideways on you going 200 mile an hour, and you're like, put it back, too far. What the hell were you thinking, And you go back, and then you do that cycle all over again and kind of chase your tail. So it's kind of aggravating, frustrating to go through that, especially for 2 days worth, because as you're changing and working on your car, another cycle on the tires means more grip in them, so you're kind of keeping up with the tire, and it makes it really difficult to relay information to your crew chief to tell them if it worked or not, because every time you went out it was faster. So it was kind of up to you to really think about it and decide whether it turned better, whether it possibly could have held on longer and things like that, because the speed-wise, if you're just going off the number on the sheet, you're going to get yourself behind because it got faster every time.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Sort of a light question. I heard you did a burnout in your celebration after the post-race.
You heard wrong.
And yeah, did you actually pull it off then?
Just because I run out of gas doesn't mean I don't know how to do a burnout. So there was smoke, that's for sure.
And can you talk about, Brian Patty told me, he said if you guys won here, he'd take another headache for the team. Basically, it would be so huge, but your team did take the time to celebrate that extra day off, and a lot of teams don't get that. What does that mean momentum-wise to be able to just really enjoy that celebration?
Well, here's the thing, with such a new team, and a new organization, I mean, this is new success, for all of us, and especially MWR. It's a lot of fun to be able to see them enjoy that, and I think that it's important for them to soak that in and really understand, what victory is all about and how hard it is. I mean, it's extremely hard to win these races, and to be able to win 3 of them here, our first year together is huge. So just I think it's important to make sure that your guys take the time and soak it in and enjoy it. If you don't, you'll regret it.
Let's go Lewis, then we'll go Jenna, and then we'll go to Brian Nelson.
Lewis, Frank, Reuters, and Speed Week. In Charlotte, you said that Sprint bought your guys bagels on Tuesday. What did you do for your guys? And a serious question, though. Do you feel you don't get enough respect in terms of being a contender for the title? You know, you need more wins before people will take you, not just for the chase, but to win a championship.
Well, as far as the bagels go, I think they delivered those at like 8 o'clock, and I wasn't up for the bagels. But, you know, as far as respect or whatever else, I mean, I don't care. That doesn't drive me. It's enjoying the moment and being in victory lane with those group of guys. That's what drives me. I mean, that's so much fun to be there. That's what everybody goes to the track for, and it's to see those faces that have been trying, you know, so hard over the years, be in victory lane and enjoying that. That's, man, it doesn't get any better than that.
Jennifer Fryer, AP.
Yes.
You talked earlier about, well, you just kind of mentioned it, qualifying is going to be so important and it's going to be so difficult to pass. So how much do you guys put into qualifying, and what does a guy do if they get, you know, if you don't have a good lap? What kind of race are we looking at? How does that get fixed, and how does a guy wake up with a drive shaft the day after a race?
Well, going back to racing, you know, it is important, but I think that you can't get hung up on it, can't get down. If you don't get qualified good, this race is going to be shook up, you know, 1,000 times. Every time you pit, people are going to take no tires. People are going to take 2 tires. Eventually, you're going to have to take 4 tires and lose your track position and then wait for the next cycle to come around. I mean, it's just going to be, you know, a chess match, you know, especially in the crew chief's side of things, the whole race. I think, you know, you're just going to have to start setting yourself up 2 or 3 runs to go to make sure that you're, you know, on that last pit stop and not have to take tires and you know, do the things that it takes to win this thing. I mean, it's going to be important to play your cards right and make sure you got good strategy and be in the right position at the end. So I don't think you can get hung up, you know, too much on you know, qualifying, but nonetheless, you need to get qualified good for pit road. You know, that seems to be so important, you know, these days is you know, if you have a good enough pit stall, you can put 4 on at the same time, you know, it takes another team to put 2 on. So it's important to have that number 1 stall.
Okay, we'll go to Brian, then Mike, and Melinda.
Brian Nelson, Motor Racing Network. Clint, how big a part of the turnaround at MWR has Scott Miller been, and what specifically can you say the competition director is responsible for this and turning it around?
Yeah, you know, Scott Miller, just like I did, we both walked into a good situation. I mean, it wasn't, you know, he or I or any one person that turned the thing around. I mean, it was just, you know, bits and pieces here and there, organization, you know. I mean, they had a lot of depth, a lot of organization already, but, you know, it just seemed like he came in and you know, he's got an understanding of keeping an eye on the ball and following that goal and keeping everything on track. So I just think he does a good job of that. You know, people get to racing themselves and get to, you know, get grouchy, and I mean, this is a tough schedule. I can't imagine. You know, we at least get time to wind down usually on a Monday morning or something like that. Them guys have to be back at work at 7 a.m. and working, and you know their wives and they're yelling at them. It's just it's unbelievable to think, you know, what them families go through. So to keep the wheels on the bus, so to speak, is pretty important. And you know, he does a good job of that. He does a good job of just managing the crew chiefs, managing R&D. You know, there's constant things going on for improvements on into the future. You have to do that. This sport seems like if you lay down and take a break for a week, you're 3 weeks behind. You know, it's unbelievable how fast things advance. And if you don't have a game plan and have somebody in place to orchestrate all of that, you're going to get behind. And Scott Miller's our guy for that.
Clint, kind of a follow-up on the Dale Earnhardt Jr. story from a week ago. Jeff Gordon made an interesting comment last week. He said if he were in contention to win the chase, 2-3 races to go, and I paraphrase here, he said he might not be as honest with the doctor as he should be because he doesn't want to take himself out of the race car and lose a chance at winning the championship. In that situation, you being in the mix, what would you do?
You know, I don't know. It depends. Junior, everybody knows Junior, and everybody, that man's been in every cup race that I've ever been in. He didn't want to get out of that car, and there was something going on, something that he felt that wasn't right. Any human being is going to, take that to the bank and understand what's going on and at least seek out help. If you don't feel right and you're, have symptoms and that you're not comfortable with, you're going 200 mile an hour on a racetrack. Forget everybody else and endangering them. How about yourself? You don't want to go out there and get hurt and ruin your career or there's so many people, especially a guy like Junior. Look at the sponsors, the money, the businesses that count on him to be healthy. It goes way farther than just being competitive and what you see on Sunday. There's a lot of people, a lot of lives that depend on him.
Specific to you, though, you're in the midst of a tremendous year.
Well, I'm going to have a hell of a time passing a baseline test anyway, so any doctor's bound to have a lot of trouble figuring out what's wrong with me.
What would it take to voluntarily step away from the race car right now with 5 to go?
Maybe a bullet. If we can patch that up, I may go on. It's just you don't get this opportunity in life very, very often. You've worked your whole year. This is a year's worth of work goes into these last 5 races, and it'd be hard to be able to think about pulling yourself out. It just depends. If there's so many different scenarios, but at the end of the day, it comes down to safety, and like I said, there's a lot of people's lives that depend on him being healthy, and not only for this 5 races, but for many years to come. Yep.
Finish up with Melinda.
Hi, Melinda Adams, ESPN. You talked about, not getting respect earlier and how, you really didn't care about that. Well, do you think that you really can be a contender, for this chase and, make a run at it and make a stab at it?
Here's the thing, 5 races, that's a lot of racing. There's a tremendous amount of racing left. When you think about it, there's only 5 races left, but at the end of the day, that's a lot of racing. 2 short tracks. This track here, this is going to be a wild card race. It's just like I said, track position and playing your cards right. No tires, fuel only. 2 tires, 4 tires. When to do that, how to set yourself up for the end. If it comes down to fuel mileage or whatever it comes down to, you're going to have to play your cards right and have a little bit of luck to see it through. I saw a hell of a wreck yesterday, and there could be some cautions in this race. If you get somebody loose and take the air off of them here, it just seems like the thing has so much grip and you're locked down in the minute that it unlines. It gets up on top of the racetrack and you can't catch it. It just jumps out from underneath of you. It's crazy how fast that happens. You're literally still wide open and you're sideways going, uh-oh, and you haven't even lifted yet. You're in a world of hurt. So you never know what's going to happen. So 28 points out, it's a lot better than where we were, leaving Talladega. I'm excited, pumped up, and I know the guys are, and they're doing a good job. They're bringing good race cars, and we're doing everything we can do. It's pretty neat to be racing the teams and the caliber of programs that we're racing against and running with them. So proud.
All right. Thanks a lot for your time, Clint. Good luck this weekend.